Ladies and gentlemen, voted Long Island's best podcast by a bot farm in Russia. It's the Adult Baby Show.
I'm a sweet boy.
I'll let a girl suck any part of me. I mean, honestly.
It's just in my mouth, just.
Oh, like, I'll try anything once.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Except getting to work on time.
You just ruined my day. Fuck your day.
Oh, let's get the feet involved.
It's not a nut. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud with you.
Some people
Yeah.
are absolutely
Uh-huh.
disgusted by me.
He ain't lying.
I don't know what I want to do. You know, we're here and Chick's not, so
Welcome to episode.
we don't know.
Welcome to episode blank.
Yeah.
The
So
Adult Baby Show. We're Chicless. We're waiting on Chick. Chick is late, so we're recording something to be released now. Because when they're hearing it, it's now.
yeah, that's true.
Right?
You're
Yeah.
listening now.
Yeah.
You know, I always say I give him that little wake up call reminder in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop doing that. You know,
Look
you
what
gotta
happens.
you gotta wean the baby off the bottle.
Yeah.
And you know, we start at 12 o'clock. We say noon.
Yeah.
It's 12:30. I call him up, and he goes, "Well, you there
yeah.
already?" Well, yeah.
Yeah, on time. Well, a little late, but yeah.
I was a little late.
And even still, he's still later.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
So I got a list of stuff here that we've never talked about, like that just we could just talk about now before we're waiting for him.
See, you're
But
always
the most
well prepared.
recent, you don't keep a list of things to potentially talk about on the
I
podcast.
I do.
So I have.
I don't
I
have
that.
that big of a list.
No, there's a lot of stuff in here that doesn't belong on a list to talk about. But I always feel like you never know. You never know where things lead. But just yesterday, I put in here something about one of your jokes that I wanted to talk to you about. This is a perfect time without Chick to do it. So I was listening to an old episode, and you referenced a joke that you also reference in your act now, where you say, "I used to have a joke where I say I'm Irish. I go to the beach with a
Beach ball.
beach ball, but you used to say lawn, a chair, a beach chair,
Yeah, I guess it's.
and I
interchangeable.
leave with melanoma.
I leave with a melanoma.
Leave with a melanoma. Can you? Now that's fun. That's great. It's a funny joke. I always enjoyed that little. But in my mind, I was always waiting for those two things to connect. Did they connect somehow? Like,
No, I mean, I thought that was a funny idea, but it never really
did
had
you
anything.
ever try? Because to me, like the cadence of it, like the two things belong together.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm always why isn't he saying I'm Irish? I go to the beach with watermelon. I leave with melanoma. Water melanoma.
I like that. I could do that.
Yeah. Is that anything?
Yeah.
Is that stupid?
No, it's not. It's not stupid at all.
I go to the beach with a watermelon. I leave with melanoma.
And I only brought it back
Or
now.
melanoma. You got us the Kate.
I get it.
Yeah.
I only brought it back now because I'm doing that whole thing.
Right. Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that old. That's why all these dumb things that you think of, it's always good to write stuff down like you have.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to use it.
Sure.
That was a thing, like I did it. Like I was like, this is like a funny idea, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And now it's a great way. What I do now is I say, I used to have this joke where I
Yeah.
say blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then you kind of toss around, like, cute.
That was a
fun,
cute joke, right?
Cute joke, yeah.
And then I went to the dermatologist, and he's like, "You nailed that
nailed
one.
that.
You got it."
That's a great second punch to that thing. Yeah.
And then I tell the whole story of like, you know,
But I'm going to suggest to you next time
I'm going to
you
do
tell
that.
him that joke. Say, I used to have this joke where I say go to the beach. Yeah.
I
Or,
like it.
Yeah. I bring milk. But then also like, but what is Irish? Does Irish sort of like, I'm so pale. You know, did you say I'm Irish?
I think like sort of whatever. I'm not like
I say I'm
by
so
the book.
pale. Like I go to the beach. I bring watermelon. I leave with melanoma.
Yeah.
But then
sometimes
people
I
are
say,
like, what is that? But people might be like, what does watermelon have to do
yeah,
with
well,
that?
that's the only thing where people go like, wait, a watermelon.
Yeah.
There's just why does this pale Irish kid just show up with watermelons?
Yeah. Right.
It's worth a shot though.
Maybe we have to rework it. Like I go, it may not be worth it, but in my mind,
I like it.
I like the
Okay,
melon.
I'm
the
willing to
melon
try
connection.
anything.
All right.
I'm willing to try anything up
So that's
there.
so we can check that off of the docket here. I can erase that melanoma bit.
What else you got on there?
What else do I have in there? I have. Did you ever write a parody joke? A parody song? I feel like I want to write a parody song. I won't perform it, but I feel like I want to give it to somebody who writes a parody song. Because today I woke up this morning for the sunrise and I was getting dressed in the dark. And I'm like, I wonder if I went over a parody song of Bruce Springsteen's "Dancing in the Dark" to "Dressing in the Dark."
That's
And
good.
it's like got my pants on backwards.
That's
And
funny.
Yeah, you can write a whole bunch of shit
Got
like
my
that.
pants. I would do that. I would put that right on TikTok. I need another video. Yeah, you should do that. You won't perform it?
I will never perform that. But
Why
like
not?
Chris Roach does
I know.
parodies, so I'm like, maybe I should give it to him.
Yeah, give it to him.
Wait, you know what? I think doesn't he do Ubering in the dark? Doesn't he do a parody song
He
about dancing in the
does.
dark?
You're
That-
ripping off Chris
that-
Roach.
Maybe that's why I thought when I thought that Chris.
I
thought
think you're
Chris
right.
Roach. It's a different joke. He should do a whole album of dancing in the dark parodies. Ubering. In,
There's a lot. Yeah,
door
Ubering,
dashing in the
door
dark. I
dashing,
think
changing,
Dre-
showering,
dressing in the dark. Yeah.
podcasting.
Got my shirt on backwards.
Got my
So
shirt
that's the only
on
line I have right now. But
backwards.
there's gotta be. I hope nobody notices. No, I hope nobody. It's it's the rhythm. You gotta.
What you would have to do, the way
gotta
I would
write it
do
out.
it, I would have the Bruce Springsteen's full lyrics right
Sure.
here, and just so I'm looking, I'm like, oh, all right, this line, and then find what goes with that
You
line.
gotta have the syllable count.
Yeah.
Match each line.
Everything has to match.
Yeah.
It's.
I think Weird Al still does that in his age. Do you think he started doing that, and at this point he's so good at it that he just doesn't need to do that?
I think he's a natural. I don't think
It just comes to him. He
Yeah,
just-
like we're not
I'm not a parody guy.
We're not parody
I don't even particularly
guys.
like parody music.
right. I did own a Weird Al album though.
Yeah, we all did.
You know?
The fat one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody owned that one. Yeah.
What the hell? It had some good songs on it.
Yeah.
The Gangster's Paradise one.
Yeah.
The hell was that?
Yeah, I feel like, but I was always surprised years later to find out people still liked Weird Al because I liked him as a kid, and then I found out years later people still love Weird Al, and I'm like, oh, you still like? I thought that was for kids.
Can you imagine going to a Weird Al concert?
I truly can't.
At
I
our
truly
age?
can't. And I think like he's probably very talented. and
I'm sure he is.
I don't like my comedy and music. Very rarely. Flight of the Conchords is like the only overlap of where I like.
I never got into Flight of the
Comedy.
Conchords.
Do you like any comedy music? Do you like what was his name? Stephen Lynch?
Not real. Like not
Yeah.
enough where I'm like I would go out of my way to watch it.
I feel like every time if I do get into it, because I like Stephen Lynch for a little bit, but it's got a shelf life of like 6 months. Then I'm like, I'm
Right.
over this. Even Flight of the Conchords.
What is Flight of the? To be honest, the British language,
What's New Zealand? I mean, are they,
same thing to me.
it is. It is. the
I don't know.
same. But to me, it's so funny because like Australia and New Zealand are so similar, but to me, there's a world of difference. To me,
What is it?
New Zealand to me is like quirky.
Okay.
Like Australian is like aggressive to me. It's like Jim Jeffries,
Right.
male, super male.
You're right,
aggressive
you're right.
Attitude. And
New Zealand's very
New
like-
Zealand is like they're living in the
It's
shadow.
almost like Hawaii. I feel like
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. I didn't hear that second part.
What
of Hawaii.
what do you
Hawaii.
think?
I thought you said Hawaii.
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 Well, you could say Hawaii.
Yeah. okay, you
Hawaii.
can.
Listen,
Hawaii.
I
But
never
So
loved
Australian Taika Waititi.
Uh huh.
He's New Zealand.
That's a person. I
Yeah.
thought that was a little island.
Isn't that the guy who made like Jojo Rabbit and a bunch of
know.
other things? I think
don't know.
now he does like superhero movies. I hate that too when independent movies,
when they go big,
like when independent directors get like a hit and like, oh, let's have this guy direct, and then they do it.
and it's not good.
Like if you were into making these small, he made a movie called Eagle vs Shark years ago.
Okay.
Super small independent movie with one of the guys from Flight of the Conchords is in it. I loved it. It's like a truly one of my favorite comedies. And so I was like, I cherished that, and I was like, oh, let me see what this guy does. And he did a lot of interesting things as he went. And then I thought, like, if you're into that kind of movie,
yeah,
why would you want to stop making cool movies like that to make a superhero movie?
money.
I know it's money, right? But don't you truly feel like you would get to the point where if you made enough money, this guy's making pretty good money making
Of
movies,
course.
you would be like, I would rather make the money I'm making and do shit that I love to do and I'm proud of.
But then you probably have a lot of people saying, like, all right, you're great at this.
Yeah.
Just do it on a bigger scale.
Yeah. And maybe he
And then
does like those superhero movies. I'm
Yeah.
putting that on him. That why would you like those movies? 'Cause
Right.
I
I
don't
wouldn't.
like them.
I wouldn't like to do it. But I mean, I think it's different when you do that. When he's making great small independent films, and then that option is now there.
Yeah.
That option wasn't there when he was making
Right.
that, but now it's there.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're already doing, I don't know, you have the confidence to be like, I'm
Yeah.
killing it here. I could kill it there, and maybe you don't, and maybe
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
I
How did
don't
we get
know.
on New Zealand?
What?
How did we get on New? Oh,
because the flight of the
Conchords,
because I thought
yeah.
they were English.
Yeah, but so you don't know what they are?
Don't even know what they are. I know
Well,
it's
they're-
2 dark-haired fellas,
Yeah.
and I never liked it. I didn't like the name. I don't like the way they talk.
I love the way they talk.
No.
And it's funny, too, because I don't like an Irish accent, but I like a Scottish accent.
That's insane.
Very
An
close.
Irish accent is beautiful.
I hate it. I hate an Irish accent.
Wrong.
But love a
Listen,
Scottish
I know
accent.
I'm not going to change your mind.
I love a Scottish accent, but I feel like if you gave me a test, like if you do like an audio quiz to me and put on like which one is Irish, which one is, I don't even know if I can tell you the difference.
You would.
But when I think maybe it's I have a bias about Irish people that I've met that I don't like, that I just
The Irish people still, after all these years,
Irish and English can't get along.
they can't.
So same thing with I don't like a New Zealand accent, but I love I don't like an Australian accent, but I love a New Zealand accent.
It's
And
such
they're
that's
also
such a
very-
bizarre thing to have an opinion on.
Yeah.
Like they're so close that you're like, I don't like that one. That's crazy.
And I probably couldn't even tell the difference.
Yeah, you wouldn't be
I
able
know,
to.
I don't think so.
Funny.
But if I find out you're New Zealand, I'm like that I like. But it's more of the shit that they say. I like that they
Yeah.
say like it's weird. Like I said, it's weird and quirky.
I knew somebody from New Zealand.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was I see her like I'm Facebook friends with her now.
Yeah.
And like she just like does I don't know if she works, but she's surfing all day long. She's doing cool shit, jumping off of like
Yeah, man,
beautiful.
New Zealand, that's where it's at.
I would love to live there.
I would like to go to New Zealand. Yeah.
Would you move anywhere else?
Oh my god, yeah. Dying to move
Would you? Where would
Yeah.
you go? Like realistic. Like you're not going to move to New
out of
Zealand.
the country.
No, in the like something that like I could really do that.
First, I'm guilty of wherever I travel, thinking I want to move.
Yeah,
here.
of course.
Which is like,
Aren't we all though?
Joe List talks about that on. You listen to Tuesdays with Stories.
Sometimes, yeah.
So he talks a lot about, and people criticize him. He travels to different. He goes, this place is great. I want to move there.
Yeah.
That's me. And ever since I was 16, the first time I moved to Vegas, I was like, I want to move to Vegas.
Vegas, I could.
And I think about it now.
That's
like
wild.
at 16, I wasn't well traveled enough, and it was so different that I was like, I would love to live here. But now I'm like that.
Why
It's like
Vegas?
it's
I
like the
don't-
only place I wouldn't live.
That's like
No.
the last place
Well, I
I
was
see.
16. Like first of all, when I went there, I had lost a lot of weight. I was feeling myself. I met
yeah.
a lot of girls there. So I was like, I just associated that with Vegas. Like
Yeah.
Vegas is great. Girls
this
like
is
you.
where it is, yeah.
But it was just because I went through a change and I went to Vegas and
Mm-hmm.
I acted like I was somebody I wasn't for a week.
Yeah. It's the best part about traveling. Just be somebody new.
Yeah. But I feel like I could live anywhere. So Charleston, I give a lot of
I
thought.
love
a lot of thought
Charleston.
too.
I don't think I've ever been there, but I love the pictures. I love the idea of
You would
Charleston.
love it. And it helps that I have a friend that lives there, so it'd be
Okay.
like an easy integration to the social life
Mm-hmm.
of it. And what's nice about my job is I can transfer. Like the idea of moving somewhere is possible
possible.
because I can transfer places.
Well, you have this job, so don't think you could move anywhere.
This doesn't come with the
No.
transfer options.
No, we're done with Zoom.
Yeah, terrible, right?
So
London, never been, but I feel like if I was going to move out of the country, I want to because I love London to start
Yeah.
with. I love British humor, and I like the fact that there's not a language hurdle to get over.
it's a language hurdle for me. That language bothers me very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You want to fight about it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I
Are you
hate it.
being serious? Or
I'm
do you-
being dead serious. I really
So
don't like.
this anger that I have towards your people. You have right back to me. So
Right.
it is true. It's a deep rooted hatred for
Well,
each other's cultures.
You want to hear something?
Yeah.
I have like relatives in Ireland, and when my sister was born, they found out her name was Elizabeth, and they did not like that.
Yeah.
because of Queen Elizabeth.
Sure.
They were like, "You can't do that. You can't do that."
Wow. So
They didn't listen.
hold on to it.
My
yeah.
parents didn't listen.
Oh, they didn't change her name.
No, they didn't. They're like, "Oh, the Irish family that nobody talks to."
Well, I have family in England,
Yeah.
and they found out that my name was Ryan, and they didn't care. I wanted to make that a beef, but that is true. Like Ryan is an Irish
It
name.
is. Yeah. It's
so
my
they-
favorite thing about you. I would like to go to London, though. London
Not
seems.
live there. Yeah,
I don't think I would live there.
I've also heard that
I
like
could barely live in Farmingdale.
I've heard that, and this was also 10 years ago, that I've heard that American comics can move to London and like start working pretty quickly.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm starting to think different.
Because like they for some reason like our brash humor. Like maybe they're laughing at us.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you're like if you're a total hack, I don't, but
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you are good enough and unique enough that
Wouldn't it
you
be
would probably-
hilarious? I can't get into Governors. I'm moving to London.
But let's be real. Like you're a better fit for a London like hip,
Yeah. I would, I would
smart
hope so.
crowd.
Am I really for a smart crowd?
Sure, you are. Yeah, I
don't know.
I genuinely think you are.
Okay.
I genuinely think you're a really good comic.
I appreciate
and
that.
I don't think that you. I wish that you got. I don't know how much you get up. I think you get up more than I realize. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
well, I could work
I act
harder.
like I know every time you get up because you like I know about the times you get up. I just assume those are the only times you get up.
I
But just
wish I you get to a point where like I'm like I just can't go to Manhattan right now after work like I used to.
Yeah, and I think listening to older podcasts, you were getting it like
Yeah.
there's the period I'm at now. You're up like a ton
All the time.
Like 3 years ago, you were getting up a
Yep.
ton.
I have a funny story. I'll save it for when Chick's here.
Yeah.
About a show I did on Friday.
Okay. All right.
I'm not that great.
So the people will have
Oh
already,
yeah, that's
already
right.
heard that.
You can,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
So I think that I understand what you mean. That's a crazy thought to think I can't make it. But Long Island is not for you. Your curse is that you live in a place that's too stupid to find you funny.
Yeah, but I
Not everybody, but like the crowd the Governors has curated.
yeah.
Is not.
But I think I would do good there.
I do think you would do good there, but maybe it's the bookers. You're too smart for.
Maybe. That makes me feel
bookers.
good. That
Yeah.
makes me feel good.
It's just it's a scene. That's a scene you got to integrate to. You got to be a certain type of
Yes,
way.
you do. You
Yeah.
certainly do.
And it's tough, like, cause I think they would once they got to like you, they would know you, they'd like you. But
Yeah.
it's breaking through that.
I don't think I'll ever break through that. I don't have that
I
fortitude.
think you should set your goals in a different direction than that.
yeah.
That's because of convenience.
What should I set my
That's
goals?
because of convenience. Because it would be cool to just stay on Long Island and do Thursday
No,
nights, Sunday
I
nights, weekend
understand.
shows here and there.
Once I
But that's not. Nobody's ever broken through the industry at Governors. You understand?
I
that?
understand.
Everybody gets a good start at Governors, then you have to go to the city to get like, and you're already, you've broken through the city more
Yeah, I have.
without, you've leapfrogged Governors.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. One day.
Do I have anything else on here? Let's see. Dressing in the Dark, that was a bust. Dressing in the Dark parody.
It wasn't a bust.
The fact that I stole it from Chris Roach. I'm gonna
yeah.
yeah. Okay, listening back to a lot. We're the fact that we're very alike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting to know you through your podcast from years ago.
Isn't that funny?
And you say so many things, and I'm like, me and this guy is so much alike.
Mm-hmm.
You taste in movies, and you like a nice, a smaller movie, and you like the emotional movie. I thought, and but you said something the other day, and the two idiots you were doing the podcast with didn't understand it. You saying when you go to a deli, you don't like when people get too familiar with you and stop being friends with you, and you'll stop
Yes.
going to that deli if that. And
You feel that way?
I've felt that my whole life. There was a diner I used to go to once a week, and
Wow.
they started to get to know me. Like, and they were like, they'd walk in and be like, "I like my potatoes well done, like my hash browns well done."
Mm-hmm.
And I used to put up kind of a fuss about it. And one time they brought them to me, and they were like undercooked, like they were not well done.
Yeah.
I said, I can I get these I wanted these well done. Can you do that? And like they brought them back, and they were like just about the same, like maybe
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit more. I said, I'll be honest with you, like I'm not going to enjoy these. Like if you can't do it, then just tell me you can't do it. I said, but I'm not going to enjoy these. And I feel like you need to be able to say.
Wait, you said that on the second?
I said that when
Go
they brought them
around?
back.
Yeah.
Like if you can't do them well done, then just tell me that because then I won't order them because I don't enjoy these. I love well done potatoes. I don't like these potatoes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to enjoy these. I'm not going to just like eat these. So if you can't do them well done, then I don't want them and I'm not paying for them.
Yeah.
So the manager came over and they know that we didn't really have a relationship, but like it would be like, I think like you were saying, like the amount of friendship or comfortable conversation that you like, where it's like, hey, how are you? What can I get you? That's
Yeah.
where like acknowledge that I've come here a lot.
Yeah.
and let's move on
That's
to the
it.
transaction.
That's it. I don't want to be, hey, it's well done, guy.
Right.
What do you
What
What can
exactly.
I cook really well done for you today?
Yeah.
I don't need.
So I made it so the manager came over and he was like, we'll take care of it. And he brought it back and then it was well done.
was
I'm
well
like, so I'm
done.
like, they can do it. So either the chef's too busy, but I would rather them just tell me we're too busy for well done, and then just don't give me the
How
potatoes.
can you be too busy for well done?
Just put them on the thing and forget about it for a while.
That's
do
what I'm
all,
saying.
Do all the stuff you got to
Do
do,
other stuff.
and then come back to my potatoes. I don't get like, and I told him like burn them. Like I would rather have them burnt than this.
Yeah, yeah.
This is mushy potato. I don't want that.
Now, what do you, are you like hash brown? Are we talking about diner? Like,
Yeah. So how do you consider? What do you consider a hash brown?
well, there's many ways of a hash brown. I feel like you can get like a hash brown at a diner. It's like almost like the, I feel like sometimes they put like peppers and onions in it too,
With
right?
like a sliced potato, like
Yes,
a smaller
yeah.
potato sliced, and then
almost
just
like
mixed
shredded.
together. Yeah, but not shredded, because when I hear shredded, I think like IHOP hash browns,
Okay,
which
so
are like literally
that's
like,
a different
It's like a
type.
shredded cheese, but in a potato.
Right.
That's
yeah.
a different thing. I like all these things. by
I
the way.
like those.
What I don't really like is the chunks of potatoes. Like if you get like cubed potatoes,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and they call that a hash brown sometimes.
I like those well done. I like those really well done.
I like all of these well done. Any form of potato, French fry, I like well done. All my potatoes, except for a mashed potato.
Yeah.
Anything. If you get potato
baked
skin,
potato.
baked potato, everything, every kind of potato, well done.
I don't disagree with that. I like a well done fry.
This is another thing. Add it to the
Yeah,
list.
just add it to the list.
that Step Brothers. Did we just
Yeah,
become best friends?
Yep.
When I'm listening to the podcast, I've had a lot of those.
I
moments.
love that.
I go, did me and you just become best friends?
I love that.
Because so then I went back into this diner the next time after this well done incident, and the guy walks in and goes, "Hey," he goes, "I'll get those potatoes on for you right now." And I was like, I don't like the sign of this. And then,
Yeah.
like he came over to the table and he's like making small talk, and I was like, we can have, and I never went there ever again.
I don't know what it is about that, but it's just I don't.
And some people are like Chic and they're like Chris, where like they want to walk in and be like, I'm gonna get that thing started. They want to feel like they know me here.
Yeah, I don't want.
I
them
don't
to
want
know me.
anyone to know. I want to walk in and walk out and be
I want to be anonymous.
unrecognized.
That's why I love being in the city, because
You're alone.
You're alone.
in the mass of everything.
I always felt like
you're nothing. It's like the universe. It's like the universe is so big and involved that you're so small in it that you become nothing.
I love it. I love just feeling invisible there, and just like
Nobody cares about you.
nobody cares. You could do
You're
a great.
not alone, but you are alone.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're around everybody, but you're like the most alone. It's a very weird thing. Like I only go out there to do shows now, and you do shows, and like you get off stage and you do really well, and then you just walk out of that place, and nobody know you're just nobody. It's great.
I love
Not
those
that
stories.
I'm anybody, but like big comics do that. They leave the cellar and.
But
Once they leave
no
that
matter
block,
what, it's an ego trip because not an ego trip, but like it's a blow to your ego because you're whether you're big or not, those people, even if it's a crowd of 50 people, you were the focus of attention.
Yeah.
For those people, and then you go outside and you're nothing, and it's the duality of that is hard to swallow.
It is.
It's
It
funny
is.
because you hear about those stories, the bigger comics who do a show at the Garden, open for Louis at the Garden,
And then just
then walk out, and nobody knows who they are. So imagine that at the Garden. It's got to be nuts.
It's got to be crazy. And just looking back,
Brian Regan talks a lot about that because he's not a household name, but people that show up, he does these theaters in places, and then he walks across the street to get a coffee, and nobody knows who he is. And it's got to be like
that's got to be weird.
That's got to be perfect. That's to me the ideal level of fame.
I would
is,
love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love to sell out anything. Theater.
Because then it's also you can continue to write jokes as a real person. I always wonder, like, when comics get so big, how do you write jokes that are relatable?
Yeah.
So these comics can still do that because they can live in the real world and have real experiences to write about, and then perform them for people. Yeah.
The one thing I've been meaning to tell you guys is those lists. Speaking of lists, where you see like this is where you can make some extra money on the side, and I'm always like, all right, what can I do like from my phone, like not Uber, whatever. And there's this thing, and I think it's a scam. It's called Branded Survey. Have you heard of this? So basically,
Sounds like a scam, though. You're right.
So basically, it's an app, and you put all your information in it, and they just send you surveys. So you just take surveys on your phone, and some could take 20 minutes, some take 5 minutes, and you get a certain amount, and they pay you for the surveys.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's, I'm sitting there watching TV. I'll just do a survey. And then they throw in questions to make sure you're paying attention. Some surveys, they're like, you're not what we're looking for. So it's pretty interesting. But I did it for like 2 weeks, and I spent a lot of time. But granted, I was just sitting. It was time I'd be watching television.
Yeah.
But after 2 weeks, I made $3.75. I was like, that's a lot of.
That's a lot of work for not a lot of money.
Yeah. So I don't recommend branded surveys.
Okay. But I'm surprised that they gave you anything. Like I was
too.
expecting.
But the way they make it, you can win. You could like earn like up to $100. But I'm like, you could, but
Over the course of 3 years.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time.
Have you ever tried like Task Rabbit? Is that the one?
I'm not good at anything like that. If I was handy, I would do that. In fact, I think about getting TaskRabbit to my apartment because
you're gonna hire Task Rabbits.
Yeah, I'm gonna because I have I have pictures that I need to be hung up.
Yeah,
I have.
I can do that.
Yeah, you do enough.
I had an electrician over the other day. I blew a fuse, and usually you pop it and it's fine, but it just wasn't going back, and there was a spark in the box. So I was like, this seems like I should probably have somebody look at it. So I brought the guy in, and he had to walk through this area, and he was like, we were talking right here. It looks like it was like what do you do, music or something? I go, it's a podcast. He's like, podcast, huh? He's like, I didn't know any of this stuff existed. So I was like, am I going to be a guest on it? I can interview, find out what it's like to be a real man.
That's great.
Yeah. Somebody knows how to like real life talents and skills that are applicable to the world.
That's like what I was telling you. Theo Vaughn is doing them. Like he just had a lunch lady on. I was listening on the way here. I think
Tosh Daniel Tosh was doing that too.
Was he? I think it's a great idea to like interview regular people.
But you got to be Theo would be good at it. He's funny enough to spice it up.
Yeah.
He just said something the other day. It was so goddamn funny. I saw a clip of him. It was somebody like threw up on somebody.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, it was a clip of Shane Gillis on his podcast, and there's like a clip of like a Phillies fan throwing up on somebody. It's like a fear reaction where like you get scared, so like you throw up on someone on them. And
wait, that happens? People get scared and throw up?
Yeah, it's like a phenomenon where like if like you have like fight or flight, apparently one of those options is like throwing up on somebody. So Shane was like, yeah, that happened at a Phillies game. Some guy like threw up on this guy's son. So and then Theo's like, he's like, wow, that's a Cracker Barrel shower or something like that. That's what they call a Cracker Barrel shower. And I was like, how do you think of that?
He's like so nonchalant with it. Yeah, that's what we call a Cracker Barrel shower.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
He is funny. I just started listening to more of the podcast. I could like sometimes he's one of those guys where I'm like I could do it a little bit, but not all the time.
I think I still find him so funny because I don't listen to him. I just like the clips.
Yeah.
I think
I've only
hour
listened
of him
to,
once a week. I don't know that.
I've only listened to the ones where he interviews like real people, like the plumber
yeah, real people.
Real people.
Yeah.
They are interesting, you know. You've heard one comic on a podcast. You've heard them all.
Oh, I'm so bored of that. I was just saying the other day. I can't do it anymore. I find myself staring at my phone looking for a podcast, like because I see even combinations like Colin Quinn on Dan Soder. I'm like, oh, this would be a good one. I'm like, I like both these guys, and Colin Quinn's always a little bit different. But then a half hour in, it's
same thing.
They're talking about the same thing. Cancel culture. What you can't say. This, it's like. I'm so fucking bored of these conversations. Comics are like the most boring people now.
They are.
And I want to hear goofy shit. I want to hear people talking about, I don't know. Well, what do you prefer? How do you? And it's a matter of preference. People obviously love this stuff, but I prefer.
I know. I feel like I overdid it because I consumed so much of it, especially when you're on the road. Where are you with audiobooks? I'm
an audiobook guy. I actually just got a library card so that I could get them for free. I have it right here. But they have like the apps you can download, and then instead of like paying for
that looks like we set that up. I'm thinking about that other podcast. Oh, so he conveniently had his library card right there.
But yeah, so there's apps that you can just download the audiobooks on. Like there's an app called Hoopla, I think maybe, or there's a couple of them. So I went to get a library card just so I can get audiobooks because I'm never going to go like get a book from. But it's so funny because there is still like a wait list for some of them. Like 3 people have these out. It's an audiobook. I'm like, it's a fucking endless amount. But they don't. The way they don't want everybody to just have access to everything.
You lost me. That library,
you have to log in with your account. So you make an account. You have a library card. You make an account at the library. And you make a password and all that. And then there's a bunch of apps you can download through the library card for free content. You can download. There's a There's a movie streaming service. There's a music streaming service because you can get like DVDs and stuff at the library.
Right.
So anything you can get at the library, they offer digital versions. Of that.
Interesting.
So you can download e-reader books from there, but then you can also download audio versions of those things. When you go to the website, I type in like a book I want, and it'll be like 3 people have this out. You can go on the wait list, and there's 6 people ahead of you on the wait list. Even though it's a digital version, there's endless versions of that.
Why would they do that? Do they try
because
to make
it's free, and they don't want it to be like everybody to have access. It's I guess for the creators' benefit to be like, if you want it bad enough, then you got to go buy it if you want it now.
Okay.
So I guess it's just because it's free and it helps.
Because I am very much like that. Like if I want it right now, and next week I'm not going to want it.
Yeah.
Like so, if I really want something and it's not available, I'll find a different way to get it.
I was just telling Monique about Jonathan Livingston Seagull. You ever read that book?
No.
And
it's called Seagull.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Yeah.
It's
about a seagull. Yeah.
Is Jonathan Livingston is the author?
No, the name of the book is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Yeah, because we were just watching a show or movie, and there was a character in it named Jonathan Livingston. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And she goes, why? I'm like, a book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I'm like,
is it a famous book?
Obviously, I don't know. Somebody gave it to me years ago, and I was like, it's a very like heavy-handed metaphor book. Okay. Like as you're watching, like, all right, I get it.
Right.
But it is still like it's a good metaphor. It's a good little life lesson book, but it's a little on the nose and hacky. But but I wanted to read. It's just like a thin, small, super easy read.
Oh, that's good.
So I went to go to see if I can find it on the thing, and there was a wait list for it. And I was like,
really?
I'm just gonna buy it on Amazon and give it to her.
Now,
which I haven't done, but
I have Spotify Premium, and it offers books. I just found on there
audiobooks.
Yeah, I just my dad was telling me about a book, and it sounded my dad reads a lot, and I was like, oh, I trust his opinion. He says it's a really good book. So I looked it up on Spotify. It was right there, free. Well, I guess I pay for the premium, but I'm already paying for that.
Right, exactly. That's an added bonus to it. I wonder if there's a library of things as large as Audible. If there's select things that they buy the rights to.
Yeah, I think it's probably select things. Yeah. This one happened to be on there because I looked up something else.
It's a good sign. The one book you looked for was on there.
Yeah, it's called The Horse.
Okay.
It's now I like to like figure out a book. I don't want to know the whole. I want to read it and figure out what it is while I'm reading it. So I don't really know what it's about.
Yeah.
I know it's about a horse, but it's basically from what I'm getting is like they like start in 2019. It's somebody writing about it jumps back from present day to back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't explain a book for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But it's good. All right.
Yeah, I have the Audible app right here. And what did I read And also if you read an audiobook, do you consider that you read that book?
At this point I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't,
you got
but
the content of the thing.
I did struggle with that back and forth. Do I say I read it?
Yeah. It's funny because I think you guys just talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I realized that I had never read that Norm Macdonald. I love Norm Macdonald. And I'm like, this guy's got a book out.
That's right.
And it's read by him. So you can spend 7 hours and 18 minutes with Norm Macdonald.
And it's like...
It's just him reading.
And it's like mostly true stories or something?
It's like stories that started off true, or like the people and the place maybe were true, but nothing else. It's called Based on a True Story.
Yeah.
But it's like, Is it
good?
Loved it.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll check that out.
It's a little annoying being like, because some of them are not too crazy. Like, all right, where does this turn not true? Like, I do want to know this true story though.
See, that's
you know what I mean?
That's what kind of turned me off. That's why I didn't listen or read it.
But it's funny. Like his whole thing is it's funny. And he says at one point, like the beginning of the book, he's like, every word of this book is true, or he goes, or at least as I remember, which leaves him out to tell these crazy stories. But like Adam Egget is like he's like the side character to this whole book, and he's just off doing crazy shit.
See, I would like to hear like real stories.
I want to hear this book. Obviously, it's too late now, but I wish there was a accompanying book to this where it's just the true stories of that. Like no jokes, just the true stories of that.
I love Norm, but I would love to hear like real stories. Yeah. He's probably got great real stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only thing that why I didn't read that book.
Well, obviously, an audio book, it's, while you're working.
Yeah.
7 hours.
It's the best while you're working.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to try to do more books, less podcasts. I'm just not, although I do like some of the, I'm doing like that one podcast. I think I told you about it. It's like it's not a comedy podcast, but they basically follow somebody. I think I told you on it. About it
I just heard somebody. Is it the one where they go back and find somebody you have like a beef with, and like they help you
or
work
it doesn't have to be a beef. It could be like the last one
history.
I listened to was crazy. It's called what the hell is it? Hold on. Heavyweight.
Yeah, somebody just brought that up on another podcast.
Dude, it's wild. So the last one I listened to is this guy Jonathan Larson. He's John Green. He's an author. He wrote Fault in Your Stars, a bunch of books.
Yeah.
But basically he was going to be a priest, and he was working in I guess how I don't know, hospitals have like a rectory. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
He was working there. He was doing something in a hospital, and one night, this kid came in, little kid, and he was burnt, and it was awful. Yeah, it was awful. So he, what did he? Now I always forget what I just listened to. It was a terrible story basically, and one nurse was like, he's not going to make it, and then and he was it threw him off so much that he's like, I don't want to be a priest. Like if there's a God, he wouldn't do this,
Yeah.
So then they track this kid down. He's like in his 20s now. He lived. And that he basically, the whole thing was this guy thinks about this kid every day. He prays for him, but it drew him away from religion. And now he writes books. And now they find this kid, and he's alive. And because of that incident, it like drew him and his family to the church. So it was
wow.
I told that terribly, but it's
that's fascinating.
Really a good, and it's like a quick podcast, maybe 40 minutes. And they're all different stories.
Why would that draw you towards the church? That's so interesting to me.
Because
you made it through it, but it's like, but you wouldn't have gone through it if.
I know. Well, that's what
it's amazing how you.
It's just it tore this guy away, and it brought that family closer.
Lose one,
I think
you gain another.
From what he said, the kid said was, somebody, they weren't very religious, but like after this happened, a family member like brought them there, and now super religious.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was.
I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna add that to my list because, like I said, I need more things like that.
And there's like 6 seasons, so there's so many good ones.
And a friend of mine just went to go see last night. Went to go see a live taping of the Things You Should Know podcast, which I used to listen to years ago. It's been around for years, and I'm like, oh, this is a great podcast. Like little things, like little educational things that you can learn. And I stopped listening. I'm like, oh, I should start listening to that again. Like,
that's a good
grow
one.
Your knowledge every day rather than hearing the same. Eight idiots talk about the same bullshit.
I want to find more podcasts like that.
Yeah.
Things you should know. I should. Yeah. I listened to that years ago too, and I'm like, I enjoyed it, but things fall out.
Listen to things that are going to make you more interesting at a party.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Not what Mark Norman did on his vacation.
And I think because that podcast, like when I listen to Bennington, I'm like, that enriches my conversation skills. Like I try not to just steal ideas and things that they say, but it gives you things to talk about. It gives you opinions, and it's not always like agreeing with them. Sometimes you can bring up, hey, I heard this on the radio and I disagree with it. Like you can just giving you things to talk about and think about, and just keeping the wheels moving.
Well, when I used to listen to Howard Stern, and like I would get my news from that.
Yeah, I know.
Like I was
absolutely.
like,
that's how I get my news is from morning radio.
Like I learned more about the world from that stupid show.
I like the idea of anybody listening to this and hearing me just say become more interesting at parties. Somebody that has been at a party with me and be like,
It's
not working.
It's not working.
It's not working.
I
Like I remember being at a party. We were talking about a podcast, and I couldn't have been more bored. So either listen to different podcasts or stop going to parties.
I've been actually. I listened to a few Ron and Fez stuff. The old Ron and Fez radio show on YouTube. I enjoy it.
That's really what I should do. Is I have an old iPod Classic over there. I have 2 of them plugged in, and both of them are just loaded with like 12 years of Ron and Fez.
Oh, really?
Like every episode for 12 years.
Oh my god!
Somebody had posted that.
You were like hardcore.
Well, somebody had posted that. I just downloaded it. Somebody like put them online. I mean, I had to download it month by month. So I sat down for an afternoon and committed to that.
Oh my god!
So I have them all in there. So really, what I want to do is just go back. I've gone back. I've listened through. It starts in August of 2001.
So is that when they
listen to like August 2001? So which means like it went through September 2001. So they were on the air that day. So like you relive the how goofy they was, and then like you listen to it change, and like you can relive that thing. And now like I'm up to like December 2012. 2001 rather.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of years.
Why did my brain jump from 2001? But I kind of like stopped for a while. But that was really the most, because they're still funny, and it's also like the things they say. It's like, oh boy, like you couldn't say that today.
I'm fascinated by this Fez guy.
He's an interesting character.
He's very interesting. Like, what's his deal?
Well, he's dead now.
I know he died.
Yeah. Well, he was
like plagued.
He was plagued with being. Well, that was the trick. It was, is it a work or is it a shoot?
Right.
Was the whole thing. Is he was doing a gay character for years, but then he was really just hiding the fact that he was this character. Then he kind of came out on the radio years later that he was gay, and he acted like he was making this big announcement. And everyone was like, "Yeah, we knew."
Yeah,
like, and everybody knew. And then he went through like he went to like a psychiatric break, and he went away for a few months, and they had soundboard Fez where they just had a bunch of clips of him, and they would just play like they would just have like.
That was a perfect. We don't need him.
I just added that too. I couldn't.
It's so funny.
I could do a whole episode. I should just load it with chick things and do that episode. Just
oh my god! When he's late, we just play.
Just put a picture of him there. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a great clip. I'm actually in what you would call a rough patch. Oh my god!
I don't know why I found that so funny myself.
I don't know either.
And then can I play? I'm not going to play this whole thing because it's going to be part of the trivia. But another. I laughed so hard at you.
That sun-kissed meow.
This is,
Yeah, they were. Look at you, suck down that sun-kissed meow.
you said meow. You go. Look at you, suck down that suncast meow. You said meow for some reason. Why did
listen,
you say
sometimes
that?
I'll throw in a meow. I do that.
I love it. Honestly, I was cracking up.
Meow.
I was cracking up at both those things. Your meow and
I texted a girl a late night text.
No.
Meow. Like last week.
No.
I swear to God. Yeah, I'll show you.
Serious? Like in a serious way?
Well, just to get her attention.
Is that the kind of attention
she
you
said,
want?
what? Hold on. But she sent me something crazy before. She'll like, we're not on the same. I'm not. Okay, so one night she just texted me "Woolly Bully" from that song.
Sure.
And then, oh no, she did write. She wrote "woof." I thought she wrote "what." I said "meow." This is at 12:30 on a Saturday.
12:30 a.m.
Yeah, and she hit me back at 2:30 a.m. Woof. So yeah,
you just texted her meow, and
Just
she texted
meow.
back woof.
meow. Like, hey,
What were your? So were you drunk?
yeah.
And do you think this is like you were being flirtatious? You wrote meow.
It's. I call it my cat and mouse game.
So what were you really hoping for her to say? If she said woof, because that puts you in a beta position.
Yeah.
When you text her meow and she texts, you should text woof and get a meow back.
Yeah,
that's
true.
the dynamic that you want.
That's true.
You don't want the meow dynamic.
I know.
Put on
She
you.
woofs at me, and what do I purr back at her? It's not good. Well, and the thing is,
Were you hoping to hook up with this person to say? Were you like up and feeling
in the moment, but
randy?
here's the thing. I know myself, and this girl has come over, and when I'm like, now I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where, you know, in the moment, all right, it's 12:30. Meow.
Yeah.
Come in right now.
Yeah.
But in a half hour, all right, I'm going to sleep.
That's when
Goodbye.
That's when masturbation is very important.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, that's all you got.
And just to like get through it.
Yeah.
And then realize at the end of it that you.
This is all I need.
Thank God I didn't.
Yeah, thank God.
I didn't text that
I have
meow
to wake up.
text.
I have to wake up and be
There's
like,
people talking you up.
yeah,
You know, sup, and you're out there texting meow.
Well, the you up text, I feel like is like it's not. I don't know.
It's not original.
Me. Yeah, I don't.
But I think I'd rather be unoriginal than text somebody meow.
I would try it.
Hard disagree.
Yeah, I would try it.
So, by the way, again, I'll bring it back to Monique. If I texted in the middle, if I texted at 12:30, if I texted Monique meow, she'd be all over that. Yeah, yeah. But I would never do that
Why not?
because I'm a dog.
So
I'd be a
would
wolf. Yeah,
that's funny. Do you think if you woofed, she would meow?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Jesus, I'm a kitty cat, I guess. Yeah, I'll throw in a meow. What are you gonna do? I don't.
That's
I don't hate it.
fascinating. So I love that puts context to this clip that I really did thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, it's so funny that I had just used that.
Ah, that's great. So what other books? Let's see. So it's so funny. Most of the books I've ever listened to or read are by comics.
Yeah, me too.
Like an overwhelming amount of the books I've read. I've read Larry Miller's book. It started with Larry Miller. It was the first book I ever read front to back was Larry Miller, Spoiled Rotten America.
It was good.
Yeah, I loved it.
Larry Miller, that's the bald guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would listen to him.
Yeah, this is going back
Years.
16 years ago.
Okay.
But I remember like him on the radio and it was just, him, old man bitching about the world.
He's very funny. I like him.
So then I read Jim Norton's books, and then I read a book called I Killed, which was just a random, like a bunch of comics talking about, I think it was bad sets.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then, so when you had Stephen Wright, the Norm Macdonald book, yeah.
I read Chris Gethard had a book out I really enjoyed. I like Chris Gethard. You know him?
Yeah, I do.
He had a book out, and he had some like really good like tips on doing comedy. Like it just good words that like help me like.
He's like a big depression guy too, right?
Big depression guy, but he also like I don't know. He's got very good stories. He's got great. He's got
an
like
interesting
fascinating stories.
Chris Gethard.
Chris Gethard, yeah.
Yeah.
What else did I got them all over here, but I can't find them. But yeah, no, Chris Gethard said something about learning to do stand up. It's like it's a lot like learning to play basketball. Like you got to like learn to dribble first before you could do a behind the back pass, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just like learn just very basic stuff, but it was worded better than me.
Not to take. It would have to have been.
Yeah, it was.
I just got a basketball.
Oh, yeah?
I've been like shooting around a little bit.
Where?
Where have I been shooting?
Yeah.
A local court.
Oh, you go to a court? You don't have a hoop out here.
No, I go to. I can walk to a park with, 2 hoops.
I like a basketball hoop right in my yard.
You won't go to a court?
No.
But then here's the problem. That hoop is always not at the right angle. It's not at the right height.
True.
And now you're developing habits based on those conditions.
Right.
Not that it's going to matter for somebody at my level, but I don't want to get to the point where like, oh, yeah, I've been shooting around. I'm playing. And now like you're shooting for like an angle. Like if you're shooting backboard shots, if that backboard is on the grass on one of those poles and it's angled, then your shots, like that angle counts for
I guess so.
things or like a height. Like you're it's got to be that perfect height.
A playground basketball hoop is I always found difficult though.
Yeah, because you're used to shooting on angled, wrong-heighted baskets.
I could shoot in a gym, but the playground they have like these rims, like they're double rims sometimes, and the ball bounces right out.
Well, here's the thing: I'm awful. Like I was never great at basketball. I just always like fucking around, and a friend of mine was really good, so I was good at alley. I was good,
Yeah,
passer.
you could pass.
Yeah, I got used to placing that alley oop.
You could dunk this guy.
Oh yeah, he was 6'4"
Really?
and had ups. Yeah,
Wow. Did he play in college at all?
No, he was like the most natural athlete that I ever knew, and just never like
Oh man.
great pitcher, golf. Like
Yeah.
I taught him how to play golf. Like I brought him out the first
And he
few
was
times.
great.
Yeah, unbelievable. We would go to driving ranges. He would hit like literally over the back of the net. People would stop and watch him golf. He was, on this team. He could have been a professional golfer at some level, or like a local pro or something like that. Now he works at a golf store, and like
Okay.
it's funny because people will come up to him and like they have complaints about clubs, like this club doesn't do that. He goes, oh, let me see, and they put like in most of these golf things they have like a simulator or something. Like that. He goes, oh, let me check it out, and he hits it and he goes, looks fun, works fine to me. Yeah, he's just like an obnoxiously good. I think I maybe told a story about like I was playing softball on a team once, and we needed an extra guy, and he was home from college for the summer. So I'm like, oh, I'll bring Matt by. He's a good softball player. He hits 2 home runs in the first game, and then like they're like, can you stay home and can Matt come play?
Yeah.
Like he was just just power hitter, good pitcher.
Why? I wish I had that. I loved playing sports when I was a kid, but I wasn't naturally gifted. Like
Everything
that.
he did natural, like the swing, like you see like those robot looking swings.
Yeah,
that shows
yeah.
you how to like to move the swing perfect.
Yeah.
Like that's his swing just looked like that from the go.
And never wanted to like.
Yeah, played in high school, was on the high school team, but
Yeah.
he was a great pitcher and like threw out his arm. Like they used to not care for kids' arms
That's
as much. Like
true,
they taught
yeah.
him how to throw a curve in Little League.
Yeah.
And he would just throw his arm out. So then he just blew his arm out. He played in college a little bit, but then blew his he couldn't pitch anymore.
Jeez.
But yeah, it's just so I always was in the shadow athletically of him. So I never really took anything too seriously. So basketball was always like I would just be like, yeah, look at it, he dunked.
Yeah. Wow. I'm jealous.
But
of this guy. I
I'm
don't
shooting
know.
like I can't make a goddamn shot to save my life.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And I'm getting you're trying to, but I'm trying to do like a lot of turnaround fadeaways and like so I'm getting cute with it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I need to stand here and
You learn the basics.
Brings me back, which is what the Chris Gethard thing is like. I need to stand here at the free throw line
Yeah.
and set myself, learn how to take shots, and then you can say when that becomes second nature, then you take it out. You can add a little more motion to it.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to like
Shoot 20.
how the
I used to go right under the basket and shoot like 10 right here.
Sure.
Like 10 in the front, 10 like close.
Yeah.
And just get the rhythm
work
of it.
your way back.
And then work my way back.
I like the corners of the key always. That was always like
too. Me
I always
too.
feel like if I can hit there, then I like
I feel like that was my sweet spot.
yeah.
I had a sweet spot.
Yeah.
I played basketball I used to go to basketball camp.
Me too.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you love it?
No.
I
I did
loved it.
like it, but I was stressed all day because then in the game we'd do a pickup game and we'd play shirts for skins and I was just petrified
Oh, yeah.
being skins.
Yeah.
I used to do a joke by act about that, about like how I stress about that, and I would be like it's just like I have tits and I'm a kid. Like I don't want to take my shirt off. Like I would rather play tops versus bottoms if you can guarantee me I get like let me keep my I'll go pantless. Just don't let me show like I'm proud of my dick. I'm not proud of my
we
tits.
know you are. That is
But I like the
they
tops.
they must not do that.
No, I
anymore,
think
right?
it's like they give jerseys. Like because they would in gym they would have you would have like jerseys to put over your shirt and they would
Yeah,
hand those
yeah.
out. Remember like those cheap
pennies.
like
They
those
called
cheap-
them pennies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, in my school they did.
yeah.
Penny. I don't know why they just didn't call them jerseys.
That's what they were. Just
Yeah.
cheap.
Cheap
Over,
little jerseys. But I remember I had a friend that was a little overweight. Everybody, and he wanted to play so bad, but it was like he couldn't take his shirt off.
Yeah,
It was like it's awful.
yeah. I know. It's debilitating.
How did they not realize?
I understand court, like a playground game,
Right.
Yeah, like there's nobody,
'cause
there's
you
nobody in
show
charge
up.
of that.
But you're in
anytime
school.
there's a authority figure involved, the fact that we're adding a shirtless play to it,
Yeah,
that's not. Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know.
tops versus bottoms.
I like that.
And
top
I would like act out like doing a layup and like my dick just like rubbing somebody's face as if I can get that high. I feel like when we get together off mic, just you and I, we used to sit, we talk, and it's not that it's awkward, but it's like I feel like we spend a lot of time not wanting to really get into things because we
Yeah.
want to save things for the podcast. It's a problem with doing a podcast with somebody is you're afraid to like have
I
a
know.
conversation because you're like, if it gets good, then I'm going to be mad this wasn't recorded.
I know.
That's no way to build a friendship.
It isn't. Well,
Like,
that's why we
being-
built a friendship by you listening to old podcasts and podcasting together.
Yeah,
This is the new way to build friends
on mic.
on mic.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, like, this is going great. I'm enjoying my conversation with you. We don't need Chick. That's very obvious.
I'm going through what I would call a rough patch. Just the way he says it, it's like he's figuring out for the first time a rough patch.
I love the term "what you would call."
What you would call
so funny
a
to me.
rough patch. What episode was that from?
Must have been 51, 52.
Oh,
Yeah.
so this is going back.
Yeah.
Wow. It is true though, because there's so much stuff I want to talk about. That happened to me like just this week, where like
Yeah, when you come over and like we're before recording, we kind of say like, "Oh, it's going on good." Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And it's like it feels like do we have nothing to talk about? But it's like we don't want to spoil anything, so we're sitting here. It's
is that
this
healthy?
podcast.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not healthy. It's healthy because if that's all we want to do. But if it's like it's so funny, I think about this because I listen to podcasts and you hear like they're not really close, like they're not friends, like they do
Yeah.
a show together, but like they don't hang out. It's like if listeners like they hear us talk, so they assume like we're all like best buddies hanging out all the time.
Right.
It's like no, we don't hang out that much, and I think a large of it part of it is because we want to have something to talk. Like we don't want something. And then we got to try to retell it on the podcast. Like it's not.
It never works. That's why I yell at Chick so often, because he'll tell me the whole story,
Yeah.
and then the second I just can't fake it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was funny the first time, and I'm like, I know exactly what he's gonna say, and then he never tells it the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, but you also remember this.
Yeah.
You also did that. So
He like Mike just fucks with his head.
yeah. That's what's up with the bags? You look like you're moving.
Donation, clothes donation.
Oh,
So I got some old work clothes and just some
nice.
So yeah, piling up over here.
Yeah, that's good.
You donate your clothes? Old clothes?
Yeah, I still have clothes at my parents' house.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I have so much clothes. So yeah, my mom, they always donate so stuff, and then I'm always worried that like, oh, that T-shirt, the one I really liked, like my dad just threw away my bike.
Threw it away. You didn't even donate that.
Threw it away.
Wow.
My dad's very much when he gets into a mode like we're gonna clean, like we don't need to hold on to this stuff.
Yeah.
He'll just get rid of everything.
Yeah.
And you got to watch out because like he'll get rid of stuff that you're using. But here's the thing with my bike, when I moved out of that house, the day I moved out, like I backed up and I ran over the tire. So I had to get the tire fixed, and it was one of those
You mean
things.
ran over the tire. Like I don't understand. Like you're on the tire. I mean, like,
No,
ran-
on my car. I was driving my car,
I'm
and
sorry.
I backed over. Yeah,
So
sorry.
maybe I blacked out.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Yeah, the bike was in the
Gotcha,
driveway,
okay, all right, I got you.
and I guess it got to the point where like my dad was like, "Oh, I'll get it fixed," and then it never
So it wasn't rideable
wasn't rideable.
in its current
It was
state.
a good bike. It was a good bike. I used to live right by a bike path, and I would take it out every afternoon, like in the summer.
Do you feel like the problem now, if you would use that bike, if you had a place to store it, in your
I don't
apartment,
have
you
a
have to bring
place.
it upstairs.
Yeah,
You're never gonna do that.
I wouldn't. I don't have enough room as it is. I can't have a bike. And
You like
you know,
hanging on a wall, like they do like the New York City apartments, like Jerry
I
Seinfeld
could,
did.
but I think I'm just gonna try to get an electric scooter.
Yeah, those look fun.
They look fun.
Yeah,
Dangerous, but they look fun.
yeah.
I'm always like,
different kinds though too. And they also have like the fold up. You should get one of those fold up bikes.
I thought about that. That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think they're probably not as expensive as an electric scooter.
Some of them are electric too. Though, like the fold up and electric.
I see that.
Yeah.
A lot of kids have. I see them in Connecticut where I work. Like these kids are on these bikes,
Yeah.
and they're like going faster than me. I'm like, Jesus, how are you?
Crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
it looks cool. They got to be expensive, right?
I would imagine so.
I would.
Yeah, I go through phases with my bike, and I just took it out, and I want to get get it tuned up. I like to get it tuned up before every
Right.
year, just to make sure I'm not out there. But yeah, I got a car rack. If I have that, if I keep that on my car, like the bike rack on my car, then I'll use it more.
Yeah.
As soon as you gotta get rid of those hurdles.
Yeah,
If
that's
anything
it.
you want to do. So if I just keep the rack on my car, then I'll take it out. I like to take it to Robin Moses and then ride it onto Fire Island.
Yeah, that's
From there?
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. I got to get you guys to Fire Island this year.
Yeah.
I gotta do a little
How
trip.
was your weekend out there?
It was good.
Want to talk about it on the podcast?
Yeah,
Is there anything to talk about?
there is.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
They've already heard.
Unfortunately,
The listeners already heard about it.
Yeah, it was a quick trip, but it was good.
I feel like now we're at the point where
Well,
we're getting close to Chick getting here, so I don't want to.
We're at the point. It's been an hour. He should have been here. It takes
Yeah,
it's about 40 minutes.
I'm going to delete library card off of my list of things to talk about. Yes, that was on my list. What else did we talk about? Oh, the Aurora Borealis. You want to talk about that? Did
What's
you see
that?
that? The Northern Lights? You know, like, did you hear like it was
I
like,
heard about it.
around
I
locally?
didn't see it. Did
So
you?
No. I had to work the next day, and like I think the best time to see it was like 2:00. So when people are hearing this happened.
Wait, it was 2:00 in the afternoon. I
the
thought
morning.
it was at night.
Like at night, middle of the night it happened.
Okay.
Like it was,
Yeah,
it was like,
sleep.
so I thought about seeing it. I've saw it. I went to Alaska with the sole purpose of seeing the
You
Northern
did?
Lights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, years ago I went to Fairbanks, Alaska, which is like one of the most common places to see it.
Yeah.
So I heard somebody talking about it on the radio. Actually, I was listening to Bennington, and they mentioned the Aurora Borealis and Northern Lights, and I just got this. I was like, you know what? I want to see that. Like, I want that sounds incredible. I want to set. So I at the time texted Cheryl, and I just said, I want to see the Aurora Borealis. Let's, she goes, all right, let's figure it out. So we did some research. They said we found out Fairbanks, Alaska was, a good place to see it. We'd already been to Iceland. Iceland's another place to see it, but I don't want to go back to Iceland in the winter. We went in the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went, every night. So Fairbanks, Alaska, there's nothing to see there. So we just would kind of like waste time during the day, and then at night we would plan our time around being in a place to maybe see. First few nights, nothing, which is like, and then every day that passes, like, is this trip going to be for nothing? Like, I took a flight, and like,
Right.
there's no guarantee you're going to see this. So you're just like,
And you're just in.
Now-
Is
then
Alaska
you're
like?
just-
Would you recommend being in Alaska?
I can't. Not Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks,
Okay.
Alaska would be like going to Selden.
Really?
It was like, first
But
night.
I feel like Fairbanks is like one of the big cities. No.
It is, but it's not nice.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's chain restaurants everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can drive to a nice area. Like,
Is it cold?
yeah.
Very
it's in
cold?
winter. Yeah. Yeah. It's freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like very cold. And then you can drive to mountainsides, stuff like that. You can it's not far out of Fairbanks to see beauty. What's the big mountain out there?
I don't know.
God, I'm fucking so
There's
stupid.
moose out there, right?
Yeah, I didn't see any moose.
You didn't?
No.
I
So
feel like that's the
so
first thing you see when you get off the
Yeah,
flight.
I've never seen. I saw a moose, like in Salt Lake
City, Utah.
maybe? Yeah, Salt Lake. Yeah, because
That sounds about right.
I was on my way back from Yellowstone,
Yeah.
and I didn't see a moose the whole time I was Yellowstone. I was so aggravated. It was the only animal I wanted to see that I didn't see. Like I saw grizzlies and wolves.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
But I'm like, I wanted to see a moose.
Moose is
buffalo
a
everywhere.
cool thing.
And I didn't the whole time I was there. But then on the way back to the airport, like in like a city type of environment, like far away, I saw a moose, but like wasn't a bull moose, and it was too far away, so I feel like I almost can't even count it. So moose I'm dying. I've been to Maine a bunch of times, never seen it. Vermont, never seen a moose in the wild.
I saw a moose. I was in Messina, New York. You know where that is?
No.
It's near Canada. I was dropping a girl off there, and we were going. I guess we were going back to school. I don't remember the circumstances, but anyway, it's a small little town, literally like right by the border. Over there, it's like not far from. I don't know where the hell it is. It's up there, but we're coming out of like her neighborhood, and there's like a lake there, and there's a moose dead.
Oh, it's not the moose you want to see.
It's not the moose, but it was still pretty fascinating.
I'm not saying it's not fascinating.
It was frozen.
Wow,
Frozen moose.
interesting.
Oh,
That would break my heart, but yeah,
Yeah, no.
it's interesting. But I don't like seeing the animals. And
no,
that
you
would
don't
be-
want to see it.
yeah.
But it died in its natural habitat.
Sure, that's that's actually a good point.
It's not like
Yeah.
it was shot.
Right.
But yeah, that's the, and I think I did see one in Yellowstone when I was out over there. But yeah, Alaska.
So yeah, I didn't see any in Alaska. And then so it was the first few days with Fairbanks. Then we went up to the mountains and stayed at a place called, I think it was the Aurora Borealis Inn. And that was
that
mountainside.
you're expecting.
That was gorgeous. That was literally on a mountain. Like you walk out, like there's snowshoes there if you want to use them. You can walk into this it's just a valley of mountains, just snow covered trees.
I feel
and
like
mountains.
when you breathe in, the air must feel fresher. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, it does. That was just stunning. That was one of the most beautiful places. And then there's an alarm. Like there's a person on watch out, and they'll call you in the middle of the night to wake you up and go outside. And like literally in bed, we woke up. They said, yeah, it's about to be visible. You know, get up now. We woke up. There's a big window overlooking the mountainside, and you could see it through the bedroom window. You could see the northern lights. We got all dressed up. I got my camera gear already. Took some pictures, but it was kind of light and cut. Like it wasn't like overwhelming. Like we would expect to see it. Like you expect to walk out and just be like, oh my god, that's crazy. It was like kind of faint. Like, oh yeah, I can see green. But then in the camera, the way the cameras work, the longer the exposure, the more light and color gets exposed to it. So if you have like a 30-second exposure, which is what I set it to, you can really bring out the greens and see stuff that you couldn't even see on purpose. So that was a big beef with people on Long Island, like they could see it. There's a lot of photographers took pictures of it, and they made it look a lot more vibrant than it was in real life.
Okay.
So people are like, that's not even real. That's not what it looked like. And it's like, yeah, you're right. That's not what it looked like. But I want people to know, like, the first few nights we saw it was kind of faint, but there's varying degrees of how bright the the northern lights. It's just it's hard. It's easy. It's hard for me to say that. So the northern lights.
Difficult for me to watch you say it.
So I would feel like if you saw that and were underwhelmed by it, set out to see it again.
Yeah.
Because you will. The last 2 nights we saw it, I stayed in another place, some springs. I forget what it was called. Something springs. And those nights was unreal in the sky. I didn't need to like do as much. It was like a 5-second exposure, and it was like it captured it more realistically to how it was in real life. So it is definitely something that a good photographer can lie about, like they can show.
Yeah.
But it can be. It's possible that they can be. It's like just incredibly stunning that you can see the sky like purples and greens.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I would love to go to Alaska, but it just seems like I don't know.
But like Juneau is great.
Juneau.
And I've never been to Juneau, Alaska, but that's like
That's
more of a you go there to see the nature and stuff like
now
that.
you said you went to Iceland.
Yeah.
How was that? Because I hear
Awesome.
that's really cool.
Oh, so cool.
You
It's like
recommend
another
that?
planet. So I stayed in Reykjavik.
Yeah, that's what everybody does. Right?
Yeah, and then you go out and you just take a drive and go out to this area, to that area, and then there's like the whole other side of Iceland, which I never made it to, but the waterfalls, the hikes, unbelievable.
Is it in the mountains, Iceland?
I don't know if they're considered mountains. I guess they're mountains, but they're more like
It's not
cliffs,
like you're not
I
like
feel
high up.
there's parts where you're high up, yeah, but it's more like cliffs. Though
Yeah.
I'm too stupid to answer your question, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm also spent really most of my trip on one side of the island. I think maybe the south of the island.
Now,
Reykjavik's on the south?
isn't there like a natural spring or something over there that everybody does? Did you do that?
I went in that, yeah.
How was that?
Cool.
Isn't it like
Yeah.
gross that everybody's in there?
No, not really. It's like self-cleaning.
Is it?
Yeah. What is that called?
I don't know.
I think Chena Hot Springs was, I think, the one in Alaska. But what's the one in Iceland? Let's look that up.
You were there.
I know, but I have...
Your memory is not
it's not good.
what it used
I don't
to
have
be.
a good memory to start with, and then I get to know things a lot. It's like researching, like buying a new car or buying this. You do so much research that you get all the information. Like, oh, I need a new AC, and then you learn what all the technology, the terms are. Like, I need this, I need that, and then once you get it, you forget. I forget all that shit that happens.
Of course.
I don't know what the name of it is. Spring. I would have thought typing in Iceland Springs would be
nothing's
enough,
popping up.
and it's not. 5 free hot springs. You know what the problem is? There's too many springs.
There's
But
probably a lot.
What's the popular?
But there's
one?
a popular one that everybody goes to.
Yeah,
And that's the one you went to.
yeah, and it's like you get the there's like a pool first. You can go in. You can you shower before and after you go in.
Oh, that's good. All right. They don't just let people bathe.
Now I'm going to type in Iceland famous springs. Is it not a spring?
Maybe it's called something
Blue
else.
Lagoon.
The Blue Lagoon. How do we not? Come on, guys. The Blue Lagoon.
Probably the most famous hot springs in all of Iceland. The Blue Lagoon. I argue maybe the most famous hot springs in all the world.
Yeah.
And we're both sitting there. What is it called?
Blue Lagoon.
Yeah.
Flights. How long is a flight to Iceland?
Iceland wasn't that bad because it's like shorter than going to England. England's only 5 or 6
so
hours.
Iceland, that's like between
here in England. But
like,
I think maybe more
like
north
Canada.
or so it's not direct, so it's not like half the distance. Alaska was a bitch, and
At last, because you're flying
yeah,
across the country there, right?
yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, that I don't think I would do Iceland, I think. I would do
recommend
Iceland.
Iceland. But the thing is, I was in Iceland during the summer, gorgeous.
Yeah.
The winter has its perks because it's the Northern Lights. It's probably the prettiest place to see the Northern Lights. But then you can't really go out and just like explore
Because
shit.
it's too
'Cause
cold.
It's so cold and there's everything's covered in so much snow.
I would like to go there in the summer.
I think the summer is the best time to go there.
Yeah. Expensive?
No. Well, at the time, the reason I went is because it was like so cheap.
Yeah.
Because they had recently just like their banks like collapsed. So like their bank system. So like the traveling there became really cheap.
Okay.
And I think maybe they've kind of recovered from that, so it might not be as cheap now. But at the time, it was cheap.
All right.
Loved it. I would go back to Iceland. Yeah.
That sounds like a fun trip.
And yeah, it's comfortable for English speaking people, especially in Reykjavik.
Yeah, what do they speak?
Oh God, I'm so stupid.
Icelandic?
Yeah, I guess Icelandic. Yeah, but it's like
But mostly English.
no, not mostly English, but they just a lot of people in Reykjavik in this close to the city they speak English. Yeah, I guess it's Icelandic. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not going to do any of it.
All right. Should we call Chick?
Yeah,
again?
I mean, it's,
call him on the thing. Put it on speaker, and put it up to the
Yeah.
microphone. Let's see this.
Let's see
Because
what-
I have a feeling maybe he went back to sleep.
Well, that's what I'm worried about because it literally took me it like 35 minutes to get
Yeah,
here.
I think he might went back to sleep. In which case, this is this week's episode.
Yeah.
Did he answer before it rang?
Hello?
What's up, buddy? How you making out?
I'll be there in like a minute.
A
All right.
minute? All right, we'll start the countdown.
I'll see you in a second.
A
No, it's
second.
a second. That was a quick minute. All right, let's stop recording.
Now. All right.
All right, that was fun. And I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's we'll call it a podcast for a rainy day.
But yeah.
I like that
Banked.
we have one bank.
I got
you
one
know?
banked.
That's
timeless. There's nothing really too
good. Yeah, it is what it is.
time sensitive.
Yeah.
Unless, the world collapses, then we're talking about
Yeah.
preference and hash browns and the world's
Exactly.
burning around us.
Yeah. But then
Well, the world is burning around us, and we're like,
it is.
we're using our white privilege to talk about hash browns.
hash browns and yeah.
But the world is falling apart, and I just want to acknowledge we know that, we accept that, and hope that this provides some
Comfort.
comfort in the
Yeah. I hope it
ruins of,
reminds you that life isn't too serious.
laugh about
I
it.
don't know how to
All
get
right.
it.
Thank you.